I entered the room. My thoughts were still frozen, and I couldn't believe it. Inside the room lay a figure as if sleeping. I approached the body slowly, and my faint hope was shattered. It was undoubtedly my granddaughter, Ava. How much time has passed since then? Finally, my son's wife, Olivia, arrived at the hospital. She spoke to me grumpily as she entered the room.
I'm busy. I don't appreciate being called out without reason.
I let her into the room.
Huh? Ava?
Ava was hit by a car on her way back from school.
Ava? No way. Open your eyes. If I had known, I would have come sooner.
I could only stare silently, unable to do anything. Suddenly, she glared at me.
It's your fault. You didn't pick her up from school.
Huh?
Why didn't you watch her properly? Take responsibility. Ava never liked you. She said she hated you.
Ava said that?
Since you're just a stranger with no blood ties, don't come to the funeral. Don't interfere anymore.
It felt as if everything had ended. A week later, as I was going through the accumulated mail in my too-large house, I found an envelope. It was a thin pink envelope with a cute floral pattern. What's this about? I was speechless when I saw the sender's name on the letter. In shaky handwriting, it said, "From Ava. My name is Sophia. I live alone now. Since losing my husband to illness a few years ago, I've felt overwhelmed by loneliness in this unnecessarily large house. Despite that, I've managed to become more positive and continue living in this house filled with memories of my husband. I may live alone, but I'm not too inconvenienced because my son, Jake, lives in the neighboring town. To ensure I'm not inconvenienced after losing my husband, he comes running whenever something happens. He's truly a kind son, and I'm grateful. Jake seems to enjoy his work, keeping busy every day. He got married to a woman named Olivia 3 years ago. Olivia looks a bit flashy, but she supports Jake properly. She had a second grader named Ava before marrying Jake. She was a single mother. Jake was marrying for the first time, so I wondered if he suddenly becoming a father would be okay, but it seemed like they were a happy family of 3, which put my mind at ease. But one more thing worried me. Jake loved his work and was busy with it, often working overtime or going on business trips. I wondered if Olivia and Ava were feeling lonely. I always kept an eye on them. Then one day, as I was going about my usual routine of preparing breakfast and doing laundry, the phone rang suddenly. I hurried to answer it, and it was from Ava's elementary school. They said Ava wasn't feeling well and asked me to pick her up. Deep down, I thought, here we go again. Normally, the school would contact her parents, Olivia or Jake, but he was busy with work, and it often seemed like they couldn't reach her. Olivia was a housewife, so she should be at home most of the time, but for some reason, I often received calls from the school instead. Here we go again. Thinking that, I went to pick up Ava, who had a fever, and let her rest at my house for a while. There was another thing that bothered me. Olivia often seemed to leave Ava with me and go out to play alone. It was hard to refuse, so I always took care of Ava and played with her. Sometimes, without any notice, she wouldn't come to pick Ava up until late, so I would make dinner for Ava and bathe her. Recently, it seemed like Ava was being left with me more often. As we spent more time together, I started to want to become closer to Ava. Soon Ava woke up and walked over to me. "Oh, you're awake. How's your fever? Are you feeling okay?" I asked, but there was no response as she headed towards the bathroom. After caring for her many times, it seemed like she had memorized the layout of my house. I wanted to know what she liked and what games she wanted to play, so I started actively engaging her in conversation. However, despite trying to talk about various things, she didn't respond much. When she plays with me, she seems to enjoy herself, so it doesn't seem like she dislikes me or is avoiding me. Perhaps she's just not good at talking to others. Still, I wanted to somehow become closer to Ava, so when she returned from the bathroom, I tried to ask questions at her. "Hey, Ava, what's your favorite food?"
Banana?
"Then, what do you enjoy at school?"
English?
She only responded minimally like this. Getting even a single word in response was rare, and most of the time, the questions ended with silence. I wondered if she was like this at school too. Was she getting along well with her friends? These thoughts continued to worry me. I had other concerns too. She couldn't even do basic greetings like thank you or hello. Even during times like today when I picked her up or took care of her, she never said thank you. During meals, she struggled to use forks and knives properly, and she made a mess. Even when I wiped her mouth, she never said thank you. I wondered what kind of life she had at home. Were Jake and Olivia disciplining her properly? It might be meddling, but I couldn't help but be concerned. Unable to resist my curiosity, one day when Olivia came to drop off Ava, I visited her despite feeling like I was being meddlesome. "Hey, Olivia, about Ava."
Yes, what is it?
"I think it's important for her to at least greet properly." "Is she too quiet?"
What's your point?
"I'm sorry if I offended you. I just got a little concerned." Her expression changed rapidly, and she raised her voice.
Are you saying I'm a bad parent? You think I need to educate her properly?
"No, that's not what I meant." Seemingly upset, Olivia dropped off Ava and left in a huff. I sighed and invited Ava into the house, spending time with her as usual, in silence. Despite the argument, she continued to leave Ava with me. I wondered where she was going so frequently. If I pried too much, we'd likely end up arguing again. Today, Ava didn't speak to me or even make eye contact again. It's not like she dislikes me, but it's starting to wear on my spirits. However, I want to somehow change Ava, so I patiently teach her how to use forks and knives and how to eat neatly, even though she struggles. She's my one and only precious granddaughter, after all. One day, after days like this continued, I received another call from the school. I answered the phone in my usual manner, thinking it was the usual routine, but the teacher's tone was different.
Ava was in a traffic accident and has been taken to the hospital.
What? Upon hearing the unexpected news from the teacher, I felt like time had stopped. Wasn't Ava just here at my house yesterday as usual? I tried to calm my racing heart and spoke calmly with the teacher. They couldn't reach Olivia again. Jake was also unreachable due to a business trip, so they contacted me. I left home without even properly preparing, eager to get to the hospital as soon as possible. On the way, I remembered Ava, who had been at my house as usual yesterday. She was always the adorable Ava I knew. When I arrived at the hospital, doctors and nurses guided me to Ava's room. I thought she must be fine, maybe just a minor injury. But when I entered the room they led me to, my casual thoughts turned to despair. My thoughts froze. I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't believe it. Inside the room, lying on the bed, was a body. I approached slowly. And my faint hope was shattered. It was undoubtedly Ava. How much time has passed since then? I was waiting for Olivia to arrive. It had been hours since I made the call. Where could she be and what could she be doing? Suppressing my impatience, I waited for Olivia's arrival in the hospital corridor. And eventually, she came.
What is going on? Why did you suddenly call me to the hospital?
Olivia spoke to me grumpily.
I'm busy. I don't appreciate being called out without reason.
Olivia, please listen calmly.
Huh? What is it?
I guided her to the hospital room. Then, I led her to Ava, who would never wake up.
Huh? Ava?
Her expression stiffened when she saw Ava's face. Ava passed away in an accident. Upon my words, she trembled slightly.
Huh? What do you mean? What happened?
I heard she was hit by a car on her way back from school.
Why? How? Ava.
She covered her face and broke down in tears on the spot.
Ava, this can't be true. Open your eyes. If I had known, I would have come sooner.
I could only stare silently, unable to do anything. Suddenly, she glared at me.
It's your fault. You didn't pick her up from school.
Huh?
Why didn't you watch her properly? Take responsibility.
The doctors and nurses tried to calm down Olivia, who was raging, but she wouldn't stop yelling at me.
I've never liked you. Ava didn't like you either. She said she hated you.
Even Ava said that?
Yes. Just go home. Leave quickly. I don't even want to see your face.
With her still unsettled, I turned away, unable to do anything, and tried to leave. She shouted at my back.
You always meddle in things. You've been making it sound like it's all my fault. Since you're just a stranger unrelated by blood, don't come to the funeral. Don't have anything to do with us anymore.
It felt like everything was over. I've been trying my best to make up for what Olivia couldn't do for Ava, facing Ava who wouldn't open up every day. Despite this, she never showed any gratitude towards me and just left Ava with me as if it were expected. So why was I being berated like this? I had been trying my hardest to connect with Ava. But my efforts weren't recognized by Ava or Olivia. It became unbearable to continue. I felt left alone in my slightly spacious house. Ava would never come to this house again. We would never have meals together. That sense of loneliness from that time resurfaced. The loneliness of losing someone dear. I continued to live in seclusion, grieving. About a week into this life, there was a sudden loud knocking on the front door, accompanied by a voice calling out to me.
Mom, are you there? It's me. It's Jake.
Jake? Opening the door gently, I saw him looking flustered.
Oh, Mom, I'm glad you're okay. I was worried.
What's wrong? Why are you so flustered?
It's not that something's wrong. I came here and found a bunch of newspapers and letters piled up. I thought something had happened to you.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I'm okay. I was just feeling down.
I see, that's understandable.
Are you okay, Jake?
I've sorted out the funeral and everything, but honestly, I'm feeling down.
I see. Make sure not to push yourself too hard, Jake.
Yeah, thanks.
So, is there something you need from me today? He hesitated for a moment before slowly starting to speak.
Mom, there's something I want to ask you.
Something you want to ask? What he said next was something I didn't want to believe.
It's about Olivia. She's been saying that she's been taking care of Ava alone all this time, but is that true? I always thought you were helping her.
What? Ava used to come to my house almost every day. Olivia would bring her and leave her with me.
I thought so. Olivia said you didn't like Ava and that's why she couldn't leave her with you. But that can't be true, right?
Of course not. Ava is my precious granddaughter.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Sorry, and thank you.
What was Olivia doing while leaving Ava with me?
It's strange, right? She didn't even know which class Ava was in. If she was looking after her, she should have known.
Suddenly, I remembered her heading out after leaving Ava with me. Where on earth had she been going all this time?
I'm starting to doubt Olivia. Maybe.
His expression darkened.
I think she might be cheating.
Cheating? I was shocked, but it made sense given her behavior. If she was going out alone to meet someone else, Ava would be an obstacle.
Actually, I've hired a private investigator to look into this.
Oh, I see.
Ah, thanks, Mom. I'm glad I could talk to you about this.
Was I being manipulated by Olivia? Had she been leaving Ava with me for her freedom?
By the way, Mom, you should probably sort through this accumulated mail. If the neighbors see it, they might get the wrong idea, like they did with me.
Oh, right. I'm sorry about that. I'll take care of it. I opened the mailbox and began sorting through the piled-up newspapers and letters one by one. Oh. What's this? Among the mass of mail, there was one envelope that stood out. It was a cute envelope with a pale pink color and a floral pattern. I was curious and picked it up. Huh? What's this about? I was speechless when I saw the sender's name on the letter. In clumsy handwriting, it said, "From Ava." Jake, can you take a look at this?
Huh? A letter from Ava, right?
I was surprised by the unexpected sender, but together with him, I slowly began to read the letter. It seemed to have been written the day before the accident based on the date. The letter was filled with a long, heartfelt message written in Ava's unsteady handwriting.
To my beloved Grandma. Thank you for always being kind to me. Playing with Grandma is so much fun.
The letter began with her words expressing gratitude towards me and sharing her feelings. It mentioned how she enjoyed the meals I made and how much she loved the time we spent together, including bathing together. It also revealed her frustration at not being able to converse or chat properly.
I want to talk a lot with Grandma. But I'm sorry I can't speak well. Even when I try to talk, I can't speak properly.
She must have been struggling with the frustration of not being able to do things well. Yet, she was trying her best to communicate with me, as conveyed clearly in her words.
I want to say thank you, but I'm embarrassed because I can't say it well. So, I'll talk a lot in my letters instead.
As I read the surprising contents of what young Ava had experienced, I was filled with disbelief.
Mom always scolded me for not being able to talk properly. She kept asking why I couldn't do it.
Thinking about how she felt being told such things by her mother, tears welled up in my eyes. She had been troubled for so long, yet she still tried to express gratitude to me. Ava, you were such a kind child, struggling all this time, and I didn't notice. I'm sorry. I muttered these words and found myself at a loss for words. My heart was full as I realized that these were Ava's words. The image of her usual lovely smile came to mind.
Mom, it looks like there's more.
I continued reading the second letter, where her experiences continued to shock me.
Since I was little, I was always left alone at home. Mom would go out alone and never come back. Even at night, I was alone at home.
What could this mean? Leaving a young child behind, where could Olivia have been going? Surely, Ava must have felt scared and lonely being alone all the time. Thinking of Ava crying alone stirred up my emotions.
I was lonely alone and always talked to my stuffed rabbit. But you know, even though I tried hard to talk, the rabbit never answered. So, I stopped liking to talk.
How much anxiety and sadness must have filled young Ava's small heart. If only I had realized sooner, if only I had met Ava earlier, could I have done something to help? These feelings of regret and self-blame welled up within me.
But because I want to talk a lot with Grandma, I'll do my best. So, let's play together again. Grandma, I love you more than anything.
I didn't notice her feelings. She tried so hard.
That's not true, Mom. Despite everything, she loved you very much.
I wanted to talk to her more and more. Ava, I'm sorry. I held Ava's letter close to my heart. This letter was overflowing with Ava's gentle feelings.
Still, Olivia's actions are strange. I had no idea she would go out alone and not return until night. I feel sorry for Ava.
Jake, even though you were busy with work for Olivia and Ava, right?
Yeah, but I should have paid more attention to Ava.
Both Jake and I felt regret after reading this letter. We wished we could have talked more and spent more time together. But now, that was no longer possible. Several days later, Jake called me. It seemed there was news from the private investigator regarding Olivia's suspicions. Indeed, it turned out she had been having an affair with a man who was her high school classmate. According to what I heard, they had been in this relationship since shortly after Ava was born. Thinking about how Ava must have felt being left alone at home, I couldn't forgive Olivia. How lonely must she have been? Waiting alone for Olivia to return. Imagining Ava in that situation made my chest tighten. Jake had visited the home of the man investigated by the private investigator. Initially, he denied his relationship with Olivia, but Jake had received several pieces of evidence and photographs from the private investigator. Confronted with this evidence, he confessed to everything, knowing he was aware of it all. Afterward, with the involvement of lawyers in many procedures, Jake and Olivia divorced. If not for what happened with Ava, Jake might have continued to be deceived by Olivia. I, too, may have been manipulated by Olivia for her convenience. Yet, for both Jake and me, what was lost was too great. I don't know if Olivia truly loved Ava. Sooner or later, Jake and Olivia would have divorced. I hope at least for Jake to live positively, including Ava's share. After everything came to light, Olivia was criticized by those around her, including relatives, and seemed to have lost her place. After the divorce, she moved somewhere, but neither I nor Jake knew her destination. Having spent all this time as a housewife, finding a job would likely be quite challenging for her. I hope she reflects on her actions toward Ava and Jake and changes her ways. Several months later, Jake came to consult with me about his long-standing job dilemma.
Mom, I quit my job. Now, I'm working in child welfare activities.
You were unsure before, but it sounds like you've made a decision.
Yeah, honestly, I'm nervous, but I wanted to do this.
Well, if it's what you've decided for yourself, I won't say anything.
Should I have done this sooner? I was always focused on work. If I had quit earlier, maybe Ava wouldn't have had to go through such tough times.
Jake, let's stop dwelling on the past. If you care about Ava, think about how you'll live from now on.
You're right. Constant regret won't do any good for Ava.
He quit his successful job and started his own company, aiming to help children like Ava who felt lonely. He's involved in activities to rescue children feeling as lonely as Ava. Frankly, compared to his previous job, the income is likely less. Yet, he seems satisfied with his current job where he can properly listen to and connect with each child's feelings. I feel like he's become much brighter and more positive than before, but that's not just my perspective as a mother. Watching him like this encourages me to live positively too. I want to do for these children what I couldn't do for Ava. Maybe I can fulfill my unfulfilled wishes here. Thinking this way, I decided to assist with his activities. Talking to the children every day makes me cherish each one of them. The children here are running around cheerfully and energetically today. Just seeing them fills my days with fulfillment. Their smiles are priceless treasures to me, deep in my heart. Until the day I visit Ava, I hope to remain positive. How was this story for you? Please consider subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video.